Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the fourth quarter. What is going on today? It's a wonderful Tuesday. It is wonderful, but some crazy news happened. Not even crazy. A crazy event happened last night. I'm gonna start off with Craig, man. Originally, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I thought it was his ankle. And then I kept hearing it was his Achilles when I saw him in the walking boot. So, Craig, what's your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers' devastating injury, man?
It's always an unfortunate injury or an unfortunate circumstance when you have somebody, especially of his caliber and his background and everything like that. Everything that he's done in the NFL, and he didn't even get a chance to. He only played 4 plays.
Crazy.
And, I mean, it just shows you what can happen in the NFL in the blink of an eye. So, I wanted to see what would happen. I had him in the AFC Championship game.
You did.
I wanted to see what would happen with this team.
Yeah.
He was there all the time. But unfortunately, we won't be able to see that. And with his age, who knows? With an Achilles injury at 39, he'll be 40 next year. What's going to happen with that? I don't think he wants to go out like this. So I think he'll try to make an attempt to come back, and I hope he does because I want to see him at least try to give it one more try at it. If he can't, then I understand. I'm not going to fault him. I'm not going to say anything negative about him because he came out there and he tried to play, and he's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, so
it's Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
Can't say nothing negative about him, even though everything that's been leading up to this. I know he was contemplating retirement at the time, or in the summertime, possibly, or maybe it was rumored out there. So maybe this kind of pushes him to that. But I think the competitor that he is, and the fact that he wanted out of Green Bay to try to win a championship in New York, my opinion, will try to motivate him to come back for next season. The Jets were able to rally and win the game, but going forward for the next 16 games, we'll see what happens. So it's just an unfortunate injury, man. You hate to see. You never want to see anybody go down with an injury. You've seen J.K. Dobbins go down; he's done for the season. Aaron Rodgers goes down; he's done for the season. So it sucks. But in football or any sport, it's next man up. So we'll see what happens with Zach Wilson, or if they decide to go in another direction and bring in another quarterback. But and my hats off to Aaron Rodgers. I was looking forward to a long 17-game season plus the playoffs, but we won't be able to see it this year. So I pray for his health, and I pray that he makes a strong recovery and comes back. Hopefully, if not next season, then maybe the season after.
Yeah, Mo. What's your thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers injury, man?
It was rough. I thought when I saw him go back down, I was like, uh-oh. When I seen him go back down, I was like, this might not be good. Just how he fell to the ground. I was like, ooh. I was like, all right, ankle, let's see what it is. And like everybody said, though, even Stephen A. Smith and them said, man, they was there. They said that as soon as they announced that injury, or as soon as they seen him go down, they said the energy in that place just dropped. He said, man, we can build up all this to get to this. They said even some fans that was like, if I ain't paid him my money, I paid. I might have left. So,
I know the price.
I ticket first game, them tickets probably was crazy. So they was like, nah, I can't leave. I got to make my money's worth.
On 9/11 with Aaron Rodgers opening, yeah.
So it's and it's a tough bill, especially the owner, the coach, all the pressure on, all the statements about, hey, we're a quarterback away. We feel like we're a Super Bowl caliber team, and now it's kind of like, let's see where we're at. I really was happy to see the young kid play. He didn't look rattled. He didn't look rattled. He looked poised. He looked like you could see a maturity. You could see some growth. I know there was just one game. He comes off the bench. Now let's see if people got tape on him again. But I think he showed flashes of him improving over the offseason, though. He did. To me, he showed some flashes of it. I know it's just one game, a little snippet, but hopefully he's able to ride this out, because already with his history, they're probably gonna give him a short stick for them bringing a veteran in there and putting him back on the bench. They're probably not gonna give him a lot of rope, especially with his past histories. But I hope he does well. I definitely pull it for him. But I don't know. How can I put this, man? with that defense playing like it did, it's tough for me to take them out of my playoff pick still. Like that defense is just it's crazy, and I'm hoping that this kid, what's his name? I can't take him out of playoffs right now. Like, if I see Wilson digress, it might change my mind. But right now, I think they still can sneak in, even if it's I think they can sneak in, man. Their defense is just that good.
Okay. We're gonna get to that later. You listen, you got an amendment. It's coming, right?
Yeah.
If you want to do that, I got you. You know, when this happened, I was like, dang, that's just your Jets' luck. Unfortunately, and it's crazy. I didn't even know this. Rich Eisen, who's a big Jets fan, he was like 24 years ago today, Vinny Testaverde, in 1999, tore his Achilles.
Wow.
They were talking Super Bowl that year. Rich Eisen said Vinny Testaverde did the coin flip. I didn't even notice that. And then Aaron Rodgers tears his Achilles. Like, Jets fans are like, I get it, man. It sucks. And let's not even take it from the fans. Let's go to Aaron Rodgers. Like, I didn't have them in the playoffs because I was scared for that O-line. But what I had them building up where next year I would have picked them to go really far, maybe win it all. Because I really like Aaron Rodgers. And if they would have fixed that line, it would have been good. But I was worried about that O-line. And that's unfortunate, man, because he's one of my favorite players. And it was a lot of hype going into the season. Even though I didn't have him in the playoffs, I still wanted to see him play with the Jets team, like, and he wanted to. He loves to play. He's a football player. He loves the game of football. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. It sucks that this happens. And the I don't want to say the crazy thing is, but I was listening to Gilbert Arenas' podcast, and it's hard. They said rehab is the hardest, and it doesn't get easier the older you get. The older you get for an NFL, NBA player, it gets harder because it's like, man, I'm 39. I don't feel like doing this. So, hopefully, if he comes back from this, it'll be great. I listen. I don't think he's going to retire. I don't think he's going to go out like this. I think he's going to play. I think this rehab, this might be the toughest things he's probably ever had to do in his life to come back from this. One of Craig knows this. Our favorite player, Kobe, he tore his Achilles. But how long did it take him? 2 years?
I don't know about that one. He was younger. He was 34, but
he was 34. Remember, because he broke his leg again. It took him a minute.
I think it was close towards the end of the season. I could be wrong, but I think it was
close towards the end because it was against Golden State.
Yeah, and he came back and shot the free throws.
Yep.
And he just walked off.
Yeah.
So, but you ask a lot more of a basketball player to me than a football player, at least a quarterback. Somebody like Aaron Rodgers who's not as mobile versus somebody like a basketball player who has to run up and down the court.
Mm-hmm.
So
Kevin Durant took a minute too.
Oh, I take that back. It was early in the season. Okay, so it was early in the season. He came back the following season. I believe this looks like
but then I think he hurt his leg again.
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant took a minute. But you're right. They're basketball players. So, and the crazy thing is, it was they said it's the same calf that he had problems with in training camp. And remember when Joe Burrow had problems with that calf, Bengals shut it down. They shut it down. Kevin Durant had a calf issue, and then he played, and oh man, that Achilles is crazy. One of my friends, Ellison, went through it. He said it's hard. He said the rehab is crazy. So I'm praying for him. Knowing Aaron Rodgers and how he is, I don't think he's going to retire. I think he's going to be great. Craig, I'm bouncing this back to you. Where did the Jets go from here? I heard they're looking for veteran quarterbacks.
Okay, so first of all, Kobe, he played 78 games. It was the 2012-2013 season. He had a bunch of injuries after that with his knee and his shoulder, but for the next 2 years. But for the quarterback, I mean, there's some veterans out there. I've been hearing Matt Stafford, even though he just won, they could trade for him. I don't know how that's going to.
But what if Aaron Rodgers comes back? That's weird, right?
Hey, look, man, they're just throwing that out there. What do you want me to say? I think that would be a big. That's a veteran that they could add.
Yeah,
he can still play.
If they get Matthew Stafford now,
and they got to trade for him, obviously, and then Aaron Rodgers is still on the books, and so is Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Stafford will be on the books too, so I don't know how that would work. But Carson Wentz's name's been thrown out there.
Listen, we all know the Carson Wentz experience, but
he doesn't really throw a lot of picks, but
he's better than Zach Wilson.
It's gonna be. I don't know, man. Carson Wentz is just iffy. I've been hearing trying to trade for Jameis, but Jameis has the interception bug as well.
Yep.
But he's gonna get you like 20-some touchdowns. He's gonna get you like 20-some picks. He's just one of those guys, but he's not really doing nothing on the bench right now.
Yeah.
I've been hearing Nick Foles, a veteran.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard Matt Ryan. I was like, come on.
I heard Matt Ryan, but Matt Ryan's a statue. I think you need somebody with that offensive line. The offensive line is really bad. So you're gonna need somebody that's gonna be able to at least move around inside the pocket.
Did you hear Cam Newton?
No.
All right.
Cam Newton.
I heard Cam Newton.
I heard Tom Brady.
He's not coming. Not with that O-line. Not with that O-line.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, he had that would be to me, Tom Brady would probably be the best option, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that's going to happen. Plus, he's owner of the Raiders. He just got inducted into the Ring of Honor or something like that with the.
Can you imagine if he came and played for the Jets? That'll be crazy.
Hey man, I wouldn't. I'm not going to say
that O-line is sick though.
I'm not going to give it a
get hit
0% chance, but that's I don't know, man. So I don't know. I think probably their best option at this point probably might be a guy like Carson Wentz. Or maybe if they can try to work out a trade for a Jameis Winston or something like that. I don't know. But at the end, I probably would just roll with Zach Wilson. I mean, you want to see what he's going to do, what he's capable of.
Yeah.
Maybe time spent with Aaron Rodgers in the offseason.
Yeah.
Being with him and talking to him and things like that, getting like picking his brain, maybe that helped him out to the point where he's able to go out here and maybe run this offense, especially with some extra guys in there that wasn't on the team last year, like Alan Lazard and Dalvin Cook. So I probably would just roll with Zach Wilson, but I would try to get like a somewhat a competent backup so that way just in case he goes down or he struggles or something like that. Because this offense is not the same as it was last year. They got a new offensive coordinator in there, so
it's
going to be different. So, but I want to see what Zach Wilson can do.
Did the Jets? Did they trade? They didn't trade their 2024 first round, did they?
For Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
I think it becomes a second because he's not going to play more than 70%.
Okay. So that's. I mean, how about this? What if they start Zach Wilson and they get a top 3 pick? Do you draft a quarterback? And then you let him sit a year under Aaron Rodgers. But then Aaron Rodgers is going to be mad. No. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be mad.
I wouldn't do that again, man. We've seen that before. I didn't
even be pissed.
I didn't like it before. I mean, if you know 100% for sure that Aaron Rodgers is not coming back or he's going to retire or whatever it is, because, I mean, it's going to be tough because he starts his rehab, in the next month, maybe a couple weeks, who knows? He got surgery.
Did he have surgery yet?
I don't know. So he's got to go through surgery, then he's got to start rehab. The draft is in May.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a lot of time. By the time, I mean, he can give you an option of saying, I'm going to retire or whatever it is, but I don't think he is. So I wouldn't draft a quarterback. I probably would roll with Zach Wilson again. Is he at the point where you got to pick up his option?
Let me look.
If he has a really good season and he's eligible to get his option picked up, I'll pick up his option.
Mm-hmm. Let's
So,
see.
I think he came in there with Trey Lance. Yeah, he did. So
yeah,
I
he
think
came in there and Trey Lance. Yeah, he came in 2021, so he's good.
Yeah, so I would I'll roll with Zach Wilson. I wouldn't draft another quarterback and possibly go out there and get like a cheap veteran and see what you can do. I wouldn't draft a quarterback though, because we've seen what happened before with Aaron Rodgers with that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you know,
I mean,
it's gonna be tough, man, because
it's tough.
You just don't know what Aaron Rodgers is gonna do next year, how he's gonna actually play or feel. Plus an Achilles at 39 going into 40 is gonna be the recovery time is going to be way longer. It's going to be probably more than a whole year by the time he comes back.
Yeah,
that's more than the ACL. So
yeah, the Achilles is the recovery time is crazy.
We've seen Kevin Durant take basically 2 years off almost, but that was at the end of the season. We've seen Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
So man, it's tough.
I mean, I'm looking at recovery time. 9 to 12 months.
Yeah, for maybe like a 20-something-year-old or maybe 30-something-year-old. But
yeah,
I don't know about.
Yeah, this what it said. It said, according to 2010, 9 to 12 months, but it's closer to basically a year. The partially torn. So is it a ruptured Achilles, right?
I'm not sure.
I don't think it was a tear. Oh, he tore his Achilles tendon. Yeah, so they said it was a partially torn. All right, so 9 to 12 months. So it's gonna be. I just know it's a hard injury to come back from.
So what do you think they're gonna do with quarterback?
I don't know, man. Cause right. So if they run out Zach Wilson. I mean, Zach Wilson has 6 months to learn from Aaron Rodgers, right? So, Moe, he could prove us all wrong and be good like Moe said, right? Or he sucks and you have a chance to get Drake May with the second overall pick, but Aaron Rodgers is coming back. Now, if Aaron Rodgers says, I want to play my last year for the Jets, I don't care who you draft. You know, you have to have a conversation with him. Because if it's because I think after he comes back, I don't think he's going to. If he comes back to 2024 season, I think that's his last year. And I don't think. Listen, you got Drake May learning from Aaron Rodgers. You're in a good position.
I don't think they're going to be that bad.
You know what I'm saying? But their defense is good, so they might win 8 games. They need to. I had them winning 7 with Aaron Rodgers, so they might win 7 to 6 games. Their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games, like last year. It's all on the quarterback play. So, I don't know. But they are looking for veteran quarterbacks. Jameis Winston might be a good fit.
The only thing about that,
it definitely has to be somebody mobile. It definitely got to be somebody mobile, though. That offensive line plan, it got to be somebody mobile. It can't be somebody that's like a statue, just straight pocket quarterback. Because that line that
has to be. If you get a statue back there, they're going to get hurt. Tom Brady's getting injured in that. He is. Can't move.
He's not going to be a mobile quarterback because I think he held on to the ball too long.
Yeah. And you talking about you got Michael Parsons and that Dallas D coming?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long day. Zach Wilson's gonna have a long day. You know, their schedule's not fair. Then Chris Jones is back, and we'll get to that later. They gotta play the Chiefs, the Broncos. They gotta play some stout defenses, man. All right. Mo, I'm gonna start you off with this one. Colorado's 2-0. Do you believe? Crazy thing is, my wife Faith was watching the game. She was like, she got to watch Deion. He got me watching college football, man. Yeah. I watched the Colorado Nebraska game. I loved it.
Yeah. I think those type of games you have to win, even especially when you're a building program. Like those games, you don't come out well. They struggled first half. It was a dog fight. And then second half, they started to pick up steam. They really started, the offense started clicking. They started to make more plays. I believe in them right now. I'll say I believe in them as far as possibly now maybe being an 8-win team, an 8-9-win team. I wouldn't say playoffs. I wouldn't say playoffs or New Year's Six Bowl, but I can see them as currently right now, how I'm seeing them, I can see them as an 8, possibly 9-win team winning the bowl game.
That's big.
And I think, shoot, if he pulls that off, he got to get a coach of the year type thing. Because they only won one game last year.
Like one game. They were one of the worst teams in college football.
Right, and you go from that to 8-9 wins and a bowl win. Oh man, that's a great first year. That's almost a nail. Now I know you'll talk to him. He's like, we ain't win no natty, but I think outside looking in, he don't have no natty type of team right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he won't say it out loud, but he'll know that they win 8-9 games. That's an accomplishment. That's amazing.
The question is when Shedeur and Travis Hunter leave. I don't think he's coming out this year. I think he's going to leave next year.
Right.
I don't think Deion goes to the NFL. I don't think he goes. I think he stays in college. At first, I was playing around with it, but I really think Deion's. Can you imagine if Deion's at like LSU?
Man, he had that place jumping off the wall, man.
All that, those recruits down there.
Yeah, I like his personality, but I don't know if it's NFL head coach type. Like, I don't know if he can bring that type of juice, energy, brings to an NFL kind of atmosphere. I think some people are just best where they're at. Like, I think he's best where he's at, like having a long career. Even if he gets to the big time, even if you say, like you said, even if he stay there at Colorado 2-3 years, his sons leave, and then he go to like an LSU or
Auburn,
or Auburn, or Miami, or whatever, Florida, like man, And I know
you gotta think, Mo, right? He go to like Florida or LSU.
Oh man,
he win a couple. He's gonna get paid as much as a NFL coach with more power, way more power. You know what I'm saying? And don't have to really deal with. Listen, I love the NFL, but you're dealing with grown men. College students want to learn. NFL players are kind of like, some of them are set in their ways. Right. Craig, Colorado's 2-0. Do you believe now?
Sort of, but not. Okay. I'm not 100% on board. Like after this week, actually this week, this week could be a trap game. They're playing Colorado State. Mm-hmm. They could be looking ahead to the following week where they play Oregon. That game's on the road. They already beat a ranked team on the road in TCU, but this is a division game. This is probably their toughest task. And then after that, they got USC the following week. So the next 3 weeks are going to tell me a lot. I haven't watched any college football. I haven't even been home the last 2 Saturdays. So this week coming up will probably be my first time sitting down watching college football. But I'm just still waiting to see what happens. Maybe not this week, but like I said, it could be a trap game, but the following next 2 weeks. If they can go into Oregon and beat that team, a team who they struggled last week as well. From what I seen, they were down. They were able to come back and win that game. So, and USC has Caleb Williams, so that's going to be a tough game regardless of where it is. But right now I'm in the mode of wait and see. So I'm just going to wait and see what happens. And we'll go from there. And they got some tough games on the schedule later on in the season too. They got Washington State, who's ranked. They got UCLA, who's ranked.
Utah.
So it's Utah, last game of the season. So it's not going to be an easy cakewalk. But if they be able to win like 8 or 9 games, you got to give them coach of the year because I think they can win 7 games. If they become bowl eligible, just because the expectations on this team was like 2 wins, 3 wins, something like that. And they only won 1 game.
I think it was 2 to 3.
And he replaced 86 players. That's crazy to me to come in there and even win 6 or 7 games and become bowl eligible. So it's starting out really good right now. I want to see what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
I love it. I watch it My wife has been watching. I've been watching it. He's got me watching college football again. I can't wait for Colorado State. I think he's going to get an upset or two in there against a ranked team. But I just Deion's a beast, man, and the energy he brings to the table. I'm not surprised. I said it. I was like, yo, I believe, and I know he's going to win 8 to 10 games. I think he's going to go to a nice bowl game. I think he's going to win it. And then, the sky's the limit, man. I love Deion Sanders. All right, so Mo. All right, so let's see. All right, guys, we're going to go into right now. I'm going to go into my segment. We're going to bring this up. Mo, there we go. Bam. Your college football segment.
All right. All right. So, with this, I'm going to talk about top four. Most times I'm going to talk about the top four, who I think the top four are, as it's the last year of college football playoff as far as just the top four. I think next year they go to 12 teams.
Yes, sir.
So currently right now, I have, of course, Georgia number one. Right now I got Florida State. I got Florida State. I got Texas. And I got Ohio State right now. Ohio State just named their quarterback to be the starter for the rest of the year. I know they struggled the first game, but this past game they really got Marvin Harrison going, Marvin Harrison Jr. going, who I think is going to be a top 5 pick. Just a bona fide stud receiver. Looks just like his dad, runs routes almost like him too. It's just crazy. Like he's just a stud. And I think if he goes to the right team in the NFL, you put another receiver by him, it's gonna be a problem. Georgia, out of the top four, Georgia has the easiest road left. I know it's crazy to say in the SEC, but it's true. The schedule is really not that bad. Like they don't have to play Alabama, they don't have to play LSU during the regular season.
What?
Ain't under studs, I don't think so. They're pretty much coasting because somebody's going to end up giving them a game, but they're pretty much into the SEC championship game. We'll see. I think because of their name, they can afford to lose a game depending and still get in if they win.
That's crazy, Mo. They don't play LSU or Alabama.
Nah, not during the regular season. I don't believe.
Jeez, boy.
Yeah, so they
that's straight. The schedule has to be weak.
Yeah, they're let's look right now. Like they got South Carolina coming up this weekend. They got South Carolina coming up. Then their remaining games, they got UAB, Auburn, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Florida, Missouri, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and then the that battle, in-state battle with Georgia Tech. So yeah, they don't play LSU or Alabama. I mean, yeah, Ole Miss should be a
Ole Miss might be a tough one. That might be tough.
Tennessee might be one to not sleep on, and in that, Tennessee might not be one to sleep on. Dude looks good. He transferred from Michigan, Joe Milton. He looks good. So sky's the limit for them. Florida State still got tough games coming up. I believe not this weekend, but the following weekend they got Clemson. Yeah, they got Clemson coming up. Can't sleep on that one. Dabo's going to get his kids up for a game. Now that they lost the game, he can go back to almost telling them us against the world type mentality again. So I think he's going to have them ready. Yeah, I think he's going to have them ready to play. But still got Miami. Florida State still has to play Miami. Still has to play a very good Duke team. Very good Duke team. Yeah. Who's been well coached. The coach came from Mike. I forgot his last name right now. He came to Texas A&M.
Great.
Yeah.
As soon as you said
even North Carolina, it's gonna be interesting though. Florida State gotta go through some things, so it's gonna be interesting. Then you got Ohio State.
Yeah.
I don't know. If their quarterback play, it starts to go down. I think Maryland can give them a run. I think Penn State, you got Penn State.
What about Michigan? You didn't throw Michigan in there.
No, of course that goes without saying. I mean, I think that goes without saying. Right now, looking at it, outside in, I got Michigan right now. Just outside in, of course, 10 weeks from now, I might change my mind. But just looking at both teams right now, I got Michigan. I just don't trust Ohio State quarterback. it's going to be a shootout. I don't know what Ohio State defense is going to contain Michigan. So I think in a high-scoring game, you might see the flaws from that quarterback come out a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So right now, which would be tough though. It'd be tough on that coach because if they use 3 straight years, you got to look at it as they're in the same division. So if you lose to them, depending on it, you lose to Michigan again. You lose the division. You lose the division. You don't go to your conference championship game again. That'd be a 3rd straight year. And then I don't know if they sneak in this year. Like even if they're going defeat and that's their only loss, I gotta see how everyone else falls. It definitely had to be some dominoes to fall because they ain't like Ohio State's non-conference schedule. Even though they got my bad. They do got Notre Dame coming up. That's going to be a big time game. So I think that's going to be something that win there is going to give them some wiggle room just in case a hiccup happens. But if they lose to Notre Dame, they pretty much making that Michigan game a very must-win. You're talking about getting in the playoffs, period.
And they haven't beat Michigan in how long?
2 years.
Jeez.
Yeah, imagine 3 though. You lose that rivalry 3 straight years. They come for your head. I don't care how many games you won or how many people you send in the field. That does not matter. That does not matter right there. You losing like that in a rivalry, especially a heated rivalry like that, you don't shoot the amount of money he getting paid to. They don't care about how many people you send to the NFL or whatever you win. So I like Florida State. I like Texas. Shout out to Texas. I want to say this is the first time. I want to say it's first time since Nick Saban's been there that he's lost by double digits at home.
Yeah, that was a big upset.
Yeah, like to lose by double digits at home, it was almost like it wasn't one of them games like closer than the eye test. Texas put it on. Texas was the better team. So I think they're looking at their rest of their schedule within the Big 12. They got those games, to still build that resume. Oklahoma's doing well. I can see TCU still winning some games. You still got Kansas on the come up. You still got some teams to where they're ranked teams in that Big 12 to where if they went out and now they got an Alabama win on their feather. K-State, they still got to play K-State. So I think, man, if Texas could win out, even if they lose a game but still win their conference and still win, I think Alabama's going to win enough games where that's going to hold weight. I think that's going to hold weight. Because
that Alabama win was huge. If they only lose one game and they win, they're probably going to get a playoff bid.
Okay.
So it could be them, Michigan. Georgia's crazy. I can't believe they let them do that.
I understand how you. But the one issue was
I can't believe they let them do that, man.
I mean, Oklahoma was on their schedule, but with Oklahoma going to the SEC next year, they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to have that type of matchup. So Oklahoma was on the schedule this year.
Yeah, but LSU's not on there. They don't play LSU or Alabama.
Nah.
I don't know how that works. I don't understand how that makes sense.
That's crazy.
I don't know how they pick which West teams you play, but they're playing multiple teams from the other side. So Georgia's in the East. They're playing multiple teams from the West because they're playing Auburn. They're playing Auburn.
Crazy.
They're playing and they're playing Ole Miss. So they're playing multiple teams from that west side of the bracket. I don't understand how you don't get to play. You don't want 2 straight national championships, but you ain't got to play Alabama or LSU.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know the benefits on that. I don't know who's schedule that boggles my mind.
Okay, they got Florida, but Florida hasn't been good in a long time.
Yeah, that program.
They got Ole Miss and Tennessee. They're gonna win out. It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I don't got them going undefeated.
I don't know how they get away with that. Table,
but if get away with that. Off their name, if they win one game, if they only lose one game, and they can win that side of the bracket, and they still win the division, win joint with SEC with one loss, they getting in just off the name.
Yeah, they're gonna get in. That's crazy. Anyway, now I picked this segment based on how I sometimes live my life dramatically. And is it time to press the panic button or not? Now, this segment, sometimes I say, hey, it's time to press the panic button. Or it's not. That's it. So right now, the panic button, I'm going to say, do we press the panic button on Josh Allen's turnovers? Is Stephon Diggs going to be happy? That was a bad loss. I don't know what Josh Allen was doing. I don't know. But it's time to press the panic button on the Bills. I said it. Panic button. Gotta go. I picked them not to make the playoffs. This is the reason why. Josh Allen turnover. It's going to be crazy. Or we all agreed to this. Even if they do make the playoffs, they're going to fire Sean McDermott. And they're going to hire an offensive-minded head coach. It's coming. We all called it because we all know our sports. This is a fact. We all said it here first. And it's okay. Panic button on the Bengals? No. I'm not going to press the panic button on the Bengals, even though Joe Burrow can't beat the Browns. He can't, for some odd reason, he cannot beat the Browns. And the Browns continuously pummel him. And I don't know why. The Browns have his number. Probably because Myles Garrett and their offensive line is trash. And Myles Garrett is one of the best defensive players of the year. Like, I think we all picked Michael Parsons, but nobody's going to be like, oh, Myles Garrett won the defensive player of the year. No, he's a beast. You know, he's quietly putting up a Hall of Fame resume. Myles Garrett is. He's consistently good. Will I put the panic on Tennessee? Panic button is on Tennessee. Goodness gracious, man. Ryan Tannehill, their offense looked crazy. Their offense is not good. Ryan Tannehill did not play good. And they didn't draft no quarterback. I mean, I don't know. Will Levis is inactive. Probably because he put mayonnaise in his coffee, but we never know. Yeah, he likes mayonnaise in his coffee. That's why he's inactive. But Malik Willis is playing. He's behind Ryan Tannehill, but I don't know. And the last but not least, panic button on the Chargers. As we said it again. And we're going to continuously say it. We all called this out. Brandon Staley is not a good head coach. He's supposed to be a defensive specialist. Their defense sucks. I did not pick them to go to the playoffs. The defense sucks. That's just is what it is. I don't know what he's doing. Nobody knows. If you're a defensive head coach, right? You're a defensive-minded head coach. Look at Pittsburgh. I know they lost to San Francisco, but their defense is good, right? If you're a defensive style head coach, look at Houston. D'Amico Ryans. Their defense is good. Most times, if it's a defensive-minded head coach, on that side of the ball, Patriots, Belichick, one of the greatest ever. Their defense is good. They're like, but for you to be a defensive coordinator, come to the Chargers, and let's not act like the Chargers don't have stars. You got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. You got Derwin James. Like, I don't know what's going on. It's very weird. That's my segment. That's my segment, guys. And now we're on to Craig. Craig's top 5 list. Boom.
All right, so
getting the soundboard.
I just did something not really random, but I was gonna do top 5 best wins, but I decided to do top 5 worst losses in week 1.
Ooh, you know what? I like that. All right, let's go.
Pretty much all of these teams are playoff teams from last year.
Yeah.
I had another team in there that wasn't a playoff team, but because of that win last night, I had to knock them out. So my number 5, I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings last year were 11-0 in games decided by one score during the regular season. So this is a game that they usually win, or at least based off of last year, they win. And they were at home, kind of the way they ended the season last year, and they lost. Kirk Cousins, obviously, there's no Dalvin Cook in there anymore. There's no Adam Thielen, but I think Jordan Addison is a better receiver at this point in his career than Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen clearly is older. They relying on Alexander Madison to carry the load. The Vikings they had their opportunities, but what I think really did them in or really didn't hurt or help their chances was towards the end of the first half. They were at like the 20-yard line, no timeouts, but they were driving and they could at least got 3 and possibly went up at the end of the half 13-10. But instead they threw a pick, and instead of being up 3, the game is tied, and then the second half the Vikings still couldn't score. I mean, the Bucs defense is still good, but I didn't really believe in Baker Mayfield, but he actually played a really decent, solid game. He didn't have any turnovers, which is pretty much what all you can ask for at this point in his career. Just not turn the ball over, just get the ball to his top receivers. So that's what he did. Justin Jefferson had a phenomenal game, but it just wasn't enough, man. The turnovers, I think, Kirk Cousins also had a fumble in there as well, so a sack fumble. So another tough way that they ended the season off with a loss at home, and they start the season off with a loss at home. My number 4 team, I went Seattle. They were up higher, but some other stuff happened. So Seattle just really disappointed me. Everybody was on the Seahawks. Geno Smith. After last year, I had them with like 3 or 4 wins, and they surprised majority of the people. Maybe if you were a Seattle fan, you really were into them and you thought they were going to go to the playoffs. Towards the middle of the season, I started to come around a little bit and like, okay, the Seahawks might make the playoffs, and then they ended up making the playoffs. But starting out this season, when you have a draft like when they draft offensive players like Smith and Jigba and Kara, but is that how you say his last name? Zach Kara, whatever his name is.
Yeah, the running back.
And you already have Kenneth Walker, you already have DK, you already have, Tyler Lockett. It's just inexcusable to only put up 13 points. And this also, especially against a Rams team who struggled last year, couldn't really put up points. They don't even have Cooper Kupp. And they were able to still throw the ball to guys named Tutu and Puka or whatever.
Crazy.
And it's just like, who are these guys compared to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett? And it just goes to show you that any given Sunday, man, and Geno Smith, I think he won the comeback player of the year last year, and he just looked like he had 112 passing yards. I mean, that's unacceptable at home. It's a long season, but man, that's a tough way to start.
He's screaming, "Oh my God!" when Aaron Donald was running to him full speed.
I mean, and also,
oh my God!
Going into the half, they had an opportunity to go up 16 to 7, and the kick missed there. They missed the field goal. So who knows? I mean, maybe that could have been some extra momentum going to the second half, but they didn't get it, and they ended up getting destroyed in the second half by 23-0. My number 3 team, I had them at 2, but had to move them down a little bit, and that's the Bengals. I really wanted to put them at 2, but I had to move them down to 3 just because
I know you got it number 1.
It was the weather played a big part in this game. Both quarterbacks struggled, but also I'm giving the Bengals a little bit of a pass, especially for Joe Burrow, just because he was out for pretty much all of the training camp and the preseason games. Now, I'm not a big believer in preseason, but it just goes to show you that there is something to it. And he just wasn't there. He wasn't the same quarterback. He had a career low 82 yards passing. T. Higgins didn't even get a catch. He had like 9.
That was crazy.
Catch. I mean, for fantasy football purposes, I was pissed. But there's always next week. Hopefully the weather is
Jamar Chase. Nothing.
Nobody did anything. It's going to be a tough game next week. They got another divisional game against the Ravens. But just 3 points. And you mentioned it earlier how his struggles against the Browns. He's 1-5 against the Browns. I think in 6 games, I think he has 8 turnovers total. So it's just as good as he is against the Chiefs, he's just the opposite against the Browns for some odd reason. And it continued again this season. My number 2 team, I thought about putting him at 1, but I put him at 2, and that's the Jets. I mean, that's the Bills. The Bills.
Okay, I know you got number one.
The Bills. I mean, how Josh
crazy.
Allen he's a turnover machine. He had 4 turnovers.
I don't know what he was doing on some of that stuff, man.
He's trying to. I know they had a blow up last year in the playoffs between him and Diggs, and it's just like he's trying to force feed Diggs at times. He's trying to do too much. He's taking a lot of hits. He kind of reminds me of Cam Newton taking a lot of hits.
Man.
Where Cam Newton was a strong guy. He took a lot of hits, and eventually his career kind of suffered. Mm-hmm. So I know that Josh Allen's going to get a lot of touchdowns. He's also going to throw a lot of picks. I mean, this is career high 3 picks. Tied his career high, I believe, 3 picks. So, and he threw them all to the same person. Like that guy.
Somebody say he's gonna make the Pro Bowl.
Whitehead's got his bonus already in the first week. He don't even. I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. Yeah, he's at this point. If he continues to play like this, he's going to the Pro Bowl. 3 picks in 1 game, and I mean, and then you look at how there's no Aaron Rodgers, and you still end up losing. It's like the best player, or the best player on the Jets team was Josh Allen.
That's crazy.
From the ball, and it's unacceptable.
One of those things. Did you see when he ran and he tried to hurdle?
I don't know what goes through that. What is he doing? He knows he's just doing like doing too much, and he just still goes out there and he tries it. I don't know what he's trying to do, but he needs to just try to rely on his team a little bit more. Yeah, not trying to rely on Diggs as much. Yeah, he has some other good options out there. Cook and
Gabe Davis, Cook,
and Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Knox.
Yeah. So he has pieces. Damian Harris just came over.
Yeah.
So and to lose to a backup in Zach Wilson, who struggled last year, to me, I know he lost to him last year, but I mean, come on, man, not again. Especially you want to be a Super Bowl team and have teams take you or have people take you seriously. Number 1 is the Giants. I mean, there's no way in 2023 with the offense getting all these benefits and everything like that, and he's people talking about they wanted to sign what's the dude's name? The quarterback. What's the quarterback's name for the Giants? Stupid name. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones. They wanted to sign him. He got signed. Blah blah blah.
They franchise tagged him and signed Saquon.
Yeah, they got Saquon there, so they bringing everybody back. And I mean, I knew the offensive line was shaky, but I mean, you can't even score at all. He scored 0 points at home, and in the home opener on national TV, and you give up 40. It's just unacceptable. This is why I didn't have the Giants as a playoff team coming in this year.
Me neither.
I didn't believe in them. And the thing about it is that the Cowboys offense didn't even play that well.
Nope.
Dax, he didn't throw a pick, but he didn't have a whole bunch of yards. There wasn't a lot of CD Lamb had 4 catches.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard, he did his thing a little bit, but I mean, it just wasn't like a lot of looking at the score, I kind of think if I didn't see anything else, I would have thought that Dak threw for 300 yards and like 3 touchdowns or something like that. But it was just the defense, man. And the defense just got after him. And in 2023, you can't score any points, not even a field goal. And they had a field goal opportunity and they missed it. So I don't know what else to say, man. But that was a disappointing end to that game. At halftime, I just cut it off at that point. So,
yeah, I was kind of like, come on, man. This is Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, and usually on paper, it looks good, and it just wasn't that. So hopefully they got a chance to redeem themselves. They got the Cardinals, but I don't know, man, at this point.
All right, so now we're going to look at let's do this. Chris Jones signs a big contract for 1 year. How does this affect Chiefs going forward? I think it's great. I'm glad he got in the building early. I don't know if he's playing against Jacksonville. But it's weird that he had 2. It's a center blade contract, but they offered him 2-year, $54 million guaranteed, but he wanted 2 years, $63 million guaranteed, but he signed a 1 year. Now, the first thing is he got fined $3.6 million already. So that's gone. So it would be he signed a 1-year deal up to $25 million. So it's a base of $19 million, but he has the chance to make all his fines back plus more. So I don't know why he wouldn't sign the 2 years, $54 million deal and sign a 1 year. Now, what happens is this is probably going to happen. The Chiefs are probably going to win another Super Bowl or go to a championship game, and then they're going to have to pay him. Now they're saying if they can franchise tag him, it will be $32 million. So that's what he's probably leaning on. He's probably like, you know what? I'll sign this 1 year, $25 million deal, and they're going to tag him next year if he's a free agent. They're going to tag him, and then they can work out. And the tag is for $32.4 million. So either they're going to tag him and let him play it out, but they're probably going to sign him to a long-term deal around $30 million. But I like it. I'm glad he's back. Chiefs are that's just Chiefs they're back, man. I'm glad they got it done. Mo, what's your thoughts on the Chris Jones contract?
I think it was warranted. I think it was needed. I'm glad they got it done. It helps the Chiefs. You can clearly see in that game he was missed. You will see that his presence was needed. Even though the Chiefs defense did play well, just certain things they did, certain stops they didn't get. Especially that last drive, you could see that the Lions just went straight down the field on him. It was just crazy. I like that he got the 1 year deal with all the incentives. Like you said, he make it back of that money up from where he got fined. I didn't agree with him being there in the first game. That's just me. I know some people disagree with that, but if you already under contract, and you decide not to play, and you show up to the game with your agent that's just like look at me. It's kind of just comes off as look at me. You know what I'm saying? So it just to me, it was just wow. Wow to see him there. Not to see him there. You're not playing. You under contract, but you're not playing, and then you're going to sit there and come with your agents. So. But I mean, it kind of looks like water under the bridge if you sit there now and turn around, and then a couple of days after that this happens, you give him a contract. So obviously something was had, or some type of conversations was had, or something was said. You know what I'm saying? But it can come off different ways. It can come off almost as if you fully saying we can't win without him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but let's see what he does. He's definitely a top two at his position. Definitely top 10 at his position. So it's like. You know what I'm saying? What he finished second, third defensive player of the year last year. So he's been a double-digit sack person last year straight. So I think he definitely upgrades the Chiefs. I like it. I want to see people get their money, especially people who've done it at a high level. Plus, he's won a Super Bowl, but he's won a couple Super Bowls too. So I'm definitely pulling for him to get his money.
Yeah, Craig, what do you think?
I do like that he signed. I do like that he's coming back. I think the Chiefs defense definitely could benefit, at least going forward, because I think he was missing that game. Like Mo said, the last drive that the Lions were able to milk that drive and basically put him out of the game. If Jones was there, possibly they get a stop, and then Mahomes gets the ball, and you don't want Mahomes to have the ball on the last possession. So hats off to the Chiefs for finally getting it done. Hats off to Jones as well. I'm hoping that I would love to see him come back this week. They have a tough matchup, and this is, you don't want to go to an 0-2 hole when you're playing against a team who almost beat you last year in the playoffs. Yeah. So him and Kelsey, I think they need both of those guys because the offense looked like a shell of itself, especially with Kadarius Toney dropping passes and the receiver trying to find himself, and the defense played. Not surprisingly well, but they played well. But I thought the Lions offense coming into the season was going to be really, really good, and I thought this game was going to be a shootout. But the Chiefs defense held them a little bit, and first game of the season, we'll see what happens. But I do like Chris Jones getting this deal, and I can't wait to see him back on the field.
Yeah, man, I'm glad. I think he's playing against. I don't know. They said Travis Kelce knee is doing good. He's been at the facility working it out, so he might play. I don't know if he yeah. He might play. Yeah, they said he's gonna play in week 2.
Okay, they're gonna definitely need him. I think.
That's what everybody. Yeah, Travis Kelce and Chris Jones can return for Jack. We know Chris Jones is gonna be there. Chris Jones there against Jacksonville. They're gonna have Trevor Lawrence gonna have a long day because the Chiefs. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Chiefs defense look good. They look good, and if Chris Jones come back and his defense is like. Oh, you give Mahomes a good defense, that's gonna tag on it. Well, all right. Biggest takeaway from week 1. Craig, I know you had your list. What's your biggest takeaway?
Oh man. I guess it will probably be that. I mean, to me, it's the 49ers. I know the 49ers, I thought it was going to be a tough game. I thought it was going to be a low-scoring game, but they went in there and they just dominated the Steelers. Like, I knew this. I figured the Steelers weren't going to be a playoff team, but I thought they would be borderline playoff team. Like, I thought they would at least be there close to the wild card. And Brock Purdy basically showed why he is the starter there and why they let Trey Lance go. I mean, the whole offense, Brandon Ayuk looks like he's going to be the new number 1 possibly. Or
he'll be starting in my fantasy, baby.
Yeah, I started too. Christian McCaffrey, I picked him to be the offensive player of the year. He's starting out really, really well. He leading the league in rushing. And against that defense, the Steelers defense on the road, I know Kenny Pickett is there, but everybody was praising him in the preseason or whatever, and he's supposed to be not turning the ball over, but that 49ers defense is still really good. They're not going anywhere. The way they held Najee Harris, I mean, he averaged 5 yards a carry, but he only had 6 carries. Like, and now Deontay Johnson's out.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
That 49ers team, man, it just looks like they're going. I mean, right now it looks like them and the Cowboys. Just after 1 week, it's still early. Anything can happen. But man, that 49ers team looked amazing in week 1.
Mo, what's your biggest takeaway from week 1?
Man, just some of the playoff teams from last year, some teams that we really like, just coming out looking kind of flat. Just come out looking just kind of just like, for instance, the Bengals, like 24-3. Joe Burrow threw for the least amount of yards of his career. I think he only threw for like 82 yards. I think Joe Mixon didn't even have 60 yards rushing. Like, they just looked totally unprepared. So it scares me. If you Baltimore, you better come with yours, because I don't see Cincinnati having back performances like that. So I think that's going to be something to look out for. Then you look at the Steelers. You look at the Steelers just getting dominated like that. I think Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp, when that far on first take, they say they just got punked out. Like, they straight from that first series, you can just tell, like, nope, they didn't want no parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Seattle losing by double digits to a Rams team who didn't have Stafford most of the offseason. Then Cooper Kupp didn't play. Like, it just that's a bad loss there. The Giants just totally. I knew Dallas was going to have a good defense. When they got Gilmore in there, when they brought Gilmore in there, and then brought back what they need to bring back. But Lord have mercy, like, that was just that just was why. Like, you didn't even want to show up the field. Like that was just terrible. 40-0, your first game. You come in there at home too. At home you just get 40-0 on your own field. Like, that's just terrible. So it'd be interesting to see how the Giants come back from that, how they recoup from that. But yeah, my biggest takeaway was just some of the playoff teams from last year is coming out and looking, lackadaisical. Like, I get it. A lot of teams didn't play their quarterbacks, but Some of this ain't have nothing to do with who played and who didn't play preseason. This just came out and it looked like a lot of these people got out. These playoff teams last year, it looked like they got out coached and outplayed.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway is one of the playoff teams I picked with the Broncos. And I know Sean Payton's supposed to come. I don't know. I might make an amendment. We'll see. It's just like, and Nick, shout out for Nick Wright. He said this. And this is a real thing. They look like the same Broncos like last year. What's changed? Why would you do an onside kick the first kick of the game? What are you doing? Like, I don't know with Sean Payton, and I know everybody's like, oh man, they're gonna get rid of Russ. But Russ' contract kicks in next year. His contract kicks in. So I mean, are you gonna trade him? You gave up all those number ones for him. I mean, like his contract, it hit next year. It's a $35 million cap hit. They can get from under him. They can get from under his cap in 2026. Russell Wilson has $124 million guaranteed. He has $37 million 2025 guaranteed. So they can get out of it in 2026, but they gonna take if they cut Russell Wilson at 35, they're gonna take a huge cap hit. I mean, they're gonna have to pay him. It looks like $80-something million. It's a lot. They're gonna have to pay him a lot of money, and so, I mean. Yeah. Total guarantee 107. They're gonna have to pay him like if Sean Payton says I need a new quarterback next year, they're gonna have to pay Russell Wilson. They have to pay him a lot of money. So that was just my thing. Like, they look like the same old Broncos. Golly, man. I was like, they can't score.
You hold the team. I know the defense probably like, here we go again. They held the team under 20 again. We held the team under 20 again and lost.
And they lost to the Raiders.
The Raiders, one of the worst teams. Who lead the division.
It wasn't like what's name was thumping. It wasn't like Jacobs was out there gooning.
No, Jacobs didn't even do anything.
No,
he didn't. Jacobs had
Jacoby Myers.
Jacobs had 19 carries for 48 yards. Come on, man.
Jacoby Myers.
Garoppolo was 20 or 26 for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Yeah.
Garoppolo looked like a pro MVP. Get out of here, man. It's not even that good. Russ is cooked, man. It's done. He's over. It's over. He's cooked.
I ain't gonna say I know. Hey, who this receiver? Did he come from the Patriots? Myers.
Yeah,
I like Jacoby Myers.
Yeah,
I got him on my fantasy, man. He's very consistent, man. He's a very consistent player. I know the Patriots probably wanted to keep him, but Russell Wilson looks crazy. Like, I'm on his side, but it's like, man, if he doesn't do anything this year, he's washed. And we have to say this. This has to be a thing. The playing after 35, Joe Montana did it, Peyton Manning did it. Peyton Manning struggled though, right? We got to stop thinking everybody's Tom Brady when they play to 40. He's just different. Just like LeBron. Watch how many players try to play like LeBron till they're 40.
Yeah, okay.
And it's not gonna, they're not gonna be averaging 30.
And then they're gonna play at a high level still talking about. And then, but see, the problem gonna be a lot of dudes gonna sit there and they ain't gonna carry the same attitude LeBron gonna carry though. They're not gonna say if I'm still playing at a high level. They'll sit there and play a medium level and still take them checks because the NBA gonna give it to you.
LeBron been playing. LeBron and Tom Brady put millions of dollars in their body. This is a known fact. I don't know if everybody's doing that, Mo. So I think everybody thinks like, Russell Wilson, I want to play till I'm 40. Like, we're going to see, man, but week 1 did not look good. And Mo, we're going to start off with you with this one. Are you worried about any Super Bowl picks? And do you want to make an amendment to any of your playoff teams?
All right. My Super Bowl pick was I'm semi-nervous about Cincinnati. I didn't like what I saw.
Okay.
But I think at times last year Cincinnati did look not like this bad, but Cincinnati looked bad last year.
Cincinnati and Dallas?
Yeah, I got Cincinnati and Dallas. So
Cincinnati winner.
Okay. Yeah, I'm nervous a little bit about Cincinnati. I'm not going to move off my pick because we've seen teams before start off slow and then pick it up. So I'm not going to come off of it. As far as my playoff teams,
you coming up off any?
I'm not only because only reason I'm not coming off of it is from an AFC standpoint. Let me look at my NFC, but from my AFC standpoint, I'm not coming off of none of my AFC teams because I just don't believe in the Chargers. I think that right now I got to see more from the Chargers, so I'm gonna keep the Jets in there for now, and I'm gonna keep Miami in there for now. NFC, I like all my teams. I know people question us, but I still like Seattle, of course, Dallas. I like New Orleans to win the division, of course, the Lions, of course, San Fran, of course, Philly. So for right now, yeah, I'm gonna stay packing what I got.
All right. Man of this word, I'm not moving. Craig, are you worried about any of your playoffs or Super Bowl picks from week 1? And if you want to make an amendment.
I mean, there's a couple of teams I would like to kind of maybe think about.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets definitely. I'm off of them without Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like Zach Wilson. I don't even know who they're going to bring in as maybe a backup or a possible starter to take over for Zach Wilson if he struggles or whatever the case may be. So they have a really good defense, a great defense actually, and they have some really good position players. Breece Hall is, he's still a beast, but I'm not rolling with the Jets. I had him in the AFC Championship game, so I definitely can't put them in there anymore. I think if I were going to put a team in, it's tough because the NFC or the AFC, excuse me, is so deep, I guess. But I probably would go at this point maybe Cleveland. I had them kind of running with like Pittsburgh and the Chargers for that last playoff spot anyway. And I probably would move Miami up and take the division at this point. But I had them in the playoffs anyway. But I would probably just move them up, move Buffalo down a little bit, and make some adjustments to the actual 7 teams in the AFC. But definitely the Jets got to go out. I can't keep them in there.
Yeah, and any for the NFC?
I'm still sticking with my same 4 division leaders.
Yeah.
Seattle kind of threw me off a little bit.
It blew me.
I don't really know what to say about them. I'm not really believing in anybody else. I'm still sticking with Seattle though, just because only other team that I would maybe think about throwing in there is maybe Washington, and that's pretty much it. I'm not really believing in anything. This just because Washington's defense is so good. Yeah, and they have some really good wide receivers. But even then, I think I had them at 7 and 10. I thought they would win this game anyway and lose to the Broncos. But the Broncos,
that's in the air now.
I don't know, man.
It's in the air. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
We could beat them. I'm not even gonna lie.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't at this point.
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, you said they look like the same team from last year, and they do look. Only thing that's not the same to me is the turnovers.
Yeah.
Russell was. He only had like 12 turnovers, but then he had like 9 touchdowns or something like that. So it's just horrible to watch, man. And they're gonna be. So I think it's the only game at 4:00 on TV here. So
I think so.
I'll be watching, using my
shout out to YouTube, man. They do the dual, so I can watch.
You got
I don't have the package. I'm thinking about it. I might get it. I might get it. But they said my friends got it. They got the 4-screen multi-view joint, YouTube. But if you don't have it, you can play like the channel 9. I was watching the Ravens and the and the Commanders. Yep. I was watching both of them. Yeah, I was watching Texans and the Ravens command at the same time. It was I was pretty excited. So for my AFC, I'm pretty happy with them. I'm gonna have to move the Broncos, man. I don't want to do it, but
what?
I got to. I'd rather put Buffalo, instead of them. I didn't have Buffalo making it at 10-7, but I'll bump them up a game. But the Broncos don't look like they're going to be 12-5. I tell you that.
You had them at 12-5.
I did.
Ew. Man,
they're probably going to be 8-9, maybe 7-10. But I got. I don't know, man. They look like last year Broncos.
You like Corey from last year? Corey was high on the bro. I think he had him at 12-5.
Yeah,
or something like that. He had him winning the division, I believe. Maybe not winning the division.
He did. He
did over the Chiefs.
He had to win the division over the Chiefs. I didn't go that far. That's wild. I had the Chiefs still winning the division. I just had them losing at Baltimore in the AFC Championship game. I'm picking the Chiefs to win the division. Come on, man. Yeah, I
don't know, man.
I don't know why he did that. He picked the Colts to come to the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, he did.
Shout out to Corey.
Yeah, at least they made the playoff.
Oh man. But yeah, so I'll probably take the Broncos, put in the Buffalo Bills. I'm happy with my Super Bowl pick. Dallas and Kansas City, I'm good. NFC, I'm gonna keep everything. Seattle threw me off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, what I saw from the Commanders, Sam Howell was doing a lot of scrambling. I didn't like that. He wasn't staying in the pocket. And when he did stay in the pocket, he completed some throws. So I think he still struggles with the playbook a little bit more. The defense is going to be throwing some crazy things at him. So this Denver game is going to be a big test because their defense is really good.
And the line for Washington isn't O-line isn't that good. Yeah,
O-line is horrible, man. So, we'll I mean they could be one of the teams that sneak in. I'm not a big believer in the O-line. We struggled against Arizona. That is not good.
Yeah, that's true.
That is not good. But I'm sticking with Seattle. I think it was a divisional game. They came out rough. I think they'll be all right. So I'm sticking with my picks. Now, new segment.
Ooh.
One upset alert. Who we got? You got to pick one crazy upset alert this week. I got mine, and I don't even know if it's an upset, but I got mine. Let's see. Craig, you got yours?
I think so.
Mo, you got yours?
I got mine.
All right, Mo, you go first. I know what I'm gonna say.
So it's not too many joints out there that you would call.
It's some out there.
Like ridiculous, like you called out there and be like, you look at each other like, wow, I'm gonna say that, like, wow, you gonna call that one?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go. Listen, if I gotta throw one out there, I'm gonna go crazy with mine right quick. I'm gonna go up for possibly the Eagles, possibly with the Vikings.
Ooh, okay. I was thinking about that.
I think you see a primetime matchup. I think Cousins and them, they know they can't. They know the NFC has gotten better. They know the Lions are in that division. They might look at it like we can't really afford to go 0-2. I can see them really coming out hard against the Philly.
All right. Okay. Craig, upset alert.
There's a couple of them that I was thinking about.
Ooh.
I thought about the Cardinals and the Giants just because the Giants look so trash. I thought about the Commanders and the Broncos. I'm still not certain on the Broncos. I think the Broncos are 3.5-point favorites. The Giants are 5.5-point favorites on the road. But I picked this team to win when I did my picks or whatever it is for each game, and I'm sticking with it. And they're 3-point underdogs. They're at home. I gotta go. I'm going with the Panthers.
I like that.
But I got a low scoring game here for them to win. I think both the Panthers defense played really, really well.
Yes, they
did. Had some turnovers, some bad turnovers by Bryce Young, and that's going to come with time. I mean, I didn't expect him to throw 2 picks, but I did expect him to throw at least 1.
Yeah,
and he had his opportunities. The team had opportunities in general, but they were, I mean, some bad turnovers in their own side of the field, and that gave the Falcons a short field. And they were able to hold Ritter. Granted, it's Ritter. They were able to hold London and Pitts. So it's just kind of the running game, which is the Achilles heel for that defense. They gave up, I think, like the 4th or 5th most rushing yards in that game or something like that, so far for the season. But their pass defense was really good, and unfortunately, they won't have J.C. Horn, who's out for the next couple of weeks with a hamstring injury. So I'm hoping they can still step up. Yeah, I know. But the Saints really didn't impress me in the first game of the season. So I'm hoping the Panthers in prime time Monday Night Football can get a win.
All right, you called it. I'm going Cardinals upsetting the Giants. I think that defense is going to shock some people this year. I thought they were tanking, but it didn't look like that on Sunday. I think that the head coach for the Eagles was the defensive coordinator for the Eagles. I think they're going to give the Giants problems all season. Not all season. They're going to give the Giants problems all game. They're going to apply pressure. Daniel Jones is going to throw a pick, and all of a sudden the Giants are going to be 0-2, and it's going to be questions. Questions about why did they give Daniel Jones this outrageous contract. That's what I got. That's what I got. I like it. All right, guys. Now time to my favorite. Bow. Who you got? Love the energy. Here we go. I cannot wait till I get this soundboard. I'm gonna make a crazy mix. Boom. We're gonna start off with Mo. You kind of called this game out. We're gonna start off with you, man. Vikings versus Eagles. Who wins the matchup with offense, defense, and coaching?
Coaching, I'm gonna go. Coaching, I'm gonna go Philly. Coaching, I'm gonna go with Philly. He just went to the Super Bowl. Has his team on a major role. So I'm gonna go with him. Sometimes the Vikings coach, he did a great job last year. He did a great job last year. But I'm gonna go with Philly. Defense, I'm gonna go with Philly. Just overall team speed, overall studs. I think Philly has the better defense. Minnesota at times defense just looked real bad. A lot of those must-score games were over 35 points, over 30 points. And then they had Baker out at times. They had Baker out there looking like he was back in the Oklahoma days winning the Heisman or something. It was just crazy. Offense, offense. I like how they added Addison and how they got Hawkinson, but I'm gonna go with Philly. DJ Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, just the goons they have. Miles Sanders. I just like what they have. Not Miles Sanders. Swift. Yeah.
Swift and Gainwell.
Listen, I called it. I said it. Possible upset alert. So I'm gonna go wild with this one. I'm gonna say in a high scoring game, maybe a mistake here, a wild thing happens. I'm gonna go Minnesota 35-30 on primetime Thursday night.
All right. Who you got? Eagles versus Vikings. This is a good Thursday night game. Last year it wasn't. The Eagles dominated them. But coaching, I have the Nick Sirianni. He's kind of grown on me as a head coach. He talks a lot of trash, and I kind of like it. It's kind of like the Philly narrative, so I'm gonna give him the edge of coaching. Offense, I gotta go with the Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts they have a better offensive line. Jalen Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and they got AJ Brown, DeAndre Swift, Kenneth Gainwell. They got Devontae Smith. Now Minnesota's offense is good, but Justin Jefferson he's one of one. Jordan Addison was balling, but I gotta lean Jalen Hurts better than Kirk Cousins. Defense, Philly. They got Slay, big play Slay, baby. They got Slay as a cornerback. They got the Georgia defense. Jalen Carter, I think Philly defense is going to be great. I do think it's not a blowout. I think this is a good game. I think Philly is kind of not having a Super Bowl hangover, but kind of going to be like the Bengals, like where they kind of start off slow and then they're going to pick up later in the season. But I do think this game is closer than it was last year. But I still think the Eagles win 24-21. I think it's going to be a good pace game. But I have the Eagles pulling out the victory. Craig, Vikings versus Eagles. Who you got?
Coaching, I got Nick Sirianni. The job he did last year. I think Kevin O'Connell had a solid. He definitely had a solid season last year. But a lot of those games, man, they instead of going third, they was 13-4. They could have went easily 7-10. Some of those games were just so close, and they had an amazing comeback against the Colts. That could have been a lot. There's just so many losses that they could have had. But in games where they didn't have a one score, where it wasn't a one score game, they were 2-4. So I gotta go Sirianni here. I think the team struggled in the first game against a tough defense. The Vikings don't have a tough defense, so give me the coach for the Eagles there. Offense, I'm leaning towards the Eagles. Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver, on the field. AJ Brown is a top 10 wide receiver in the league. Devontae Smith, really good wide receiver. They didn't get Dallas Goedert going at all. He was watching that game last week. There was
that was crazy.
A bunch of times where Dallas Goedert was running wide open, and where he gets. And for some reason Jalen Hurts just didn't see him. He was looking towards the end zone a couple times, or just trying to make a bigger play. When the easiest play to make was throwing it to Goddard, and Goddard didn't have a catch at all. So that's disappointing. I'm hoping that they can get him going. He only had one target, that's just unacceptable for me. But I'm going to lean towards, just because I think Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback. I'm leaning towards the Eagles there. I want to see DeAndre Swift. He only had one carry. I want to see him play better. Penny, he was a healthy scratch, I believe, last week. I want to see him come back, and hopefully he can play. I know they got Gainwell. So, I want to see this offense look like the offense of last year. And I think against this defense, that's definitely a possibility. The defense, I got to go Eagles, but the Eagles defense looked like trash last week. They gave up 300+ yards passing to Mac Jones. Like that's not the Eagles defense that we saw last year when they led the league in sacks, I believe.
Yep.
And they were just getting after the quarterback. He only got sacked twice. They were able to stop him on the running game, but when you look at this wide receiver group for the Patriots, Kendrick Bourne, Juju Smith-Schuster, like these are not like number one wide receivers we're talking about here. Now I like Ramondre Stevenson. He's able to catch the ball out of the backfield, make plays. I mean, like, there's no reason why the Patriots should have. To me, there's no reason why the Patriots should have been almost able to win this game.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I can't remember the guy who had the ball on the sideline, but he didn't drag his foot. And if he did, then maybe the Patriots win this game. And this is maybe my thought process about this is different. But I think overall I'm going with the Eagles here. Like you said, they destroyed them last year. I'm thinking the Eagles get back to Eagles football, and they're playing against a defense that to me is not very, very good. So I'm going Eagles 31-17. Yeah, that's
all right. All right, Craig. Here you go, man. Ravens versus Bengals. Who you got? That's gonna be an interesting one.
Coaching, it's really, really close. It's like a coin toss at this point, but I'm going with the Eagle. I mean, I'm going with Harbaugh slightly. It's so close. I think the job that Zach Taylor has done the last couple of years has been remarkable, but just based on I got to just take week one into account here. And granted, the Ravens were playing a much lesser team, and they kind of struggled with them a little bit. Maybe the Texans defense is better than I thought. But the the Bengals kind of they really struggle in this game. 3 points. So I'm going Harbaugh. Offense, I'm still sticking with the Bengals, even though like I was just saying, offense was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was unacceptable what I saw last week. Just like Dallas Goedert didn't get a catch. I mentioned earlier that T. Higgins didn't get a catch either. It's just unacceptable. Jamar Chase, arguably a top 5, top 3, whatever you want to call it, wide receiver in the NFL, didn't look like it. Joe Burrow, a top 3 quarterback, didn't look like it. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for this team to actually get it going, possibly, especially with him missing camp and in the preseason. But I think the offense is – plus Dobbins is going for the season. I do like Zay Flowers. Odell Beckham is a big component to this offense. And hopefully Andrews is back this week. I'm not sure if he's coming back this week or not, but hopefully.
Yeah. They need him.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need him. Defensively, the Bengals defense is pretty good, but I'm sticking with the Ravens. As long as the Ravens stay healthy, I think their defense has the potential to be top 5. They were able to sack C.J. Stroud. It is the Texans offense, but they were able to get after C.J. Stroud and sack him 5 times. So I think, and that Bengals offensive line they're not good either. So I don't anticipate the Bengals all of a sudden now becoming good and stopping the Ravens defense, even though the Ravens probably excuse me, they're not going to have is it Humphrey still. So they still got Roquan Smith, and they still have Patrick Queen. So I'm going with the Ravens there. The defense in this game, I just don't think the Bengals can afford to fall to 0-2. Especially and not only 0-2 in the AFC, but 0-2 in the AFC North. So it's going to be a tough game. They always play the Ravens tough for the most part. Lamar just always wins games.
Yeah, he does.
I just think that the Bengals are going to be able to find a way to win this game at home in front of their crowd and just not go down to 0-2. And I think the offense looks a lot better this week than it did last week. But give me 24-20 Bengals over the Ravens.
All right, I'm gonna do the Bengals versus the Ravens. Who you got? For their coaching, it's close. I gotta give it to Harbaugh, but I like what Zach Taylor has done. I think this is gonna be a really good game, like it always is, right? It's AFC North. Expectations are gonna be tempered. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just very, very interesting. But I'm gonna give the nods to Harbaugh a little bit. But Zach Taylor's really good, man. Especially if they have another good year and go deep in the playoffs. I mean, he's going to be talked about as a good NFL coach. That's what happens when you land a franchise quarterback. Offense, gotta go with the Bengals, and I'm kind of agree with Craig. The Ravens offense let me down. Unfortunately, J.K. Dobbins tore his ACL.
I thought it was his Achilles, but
His
I don't remember.
Achilles.
Let me check.
It might be his Achilles, man, which sucks because he just came.
Was it Dobbins? You talking about Dobbins?
Yes, his Achilles.
I think it was Achilles or ACL. I know it was the leg again.
Yeah, it was his Achilles.
His Achilles. Dang, tore his Achilles, man.
He can't stay healthy.
Nah.
And the messed up part is he ain't even been through his first contract. He ain't even been in the league 5 years, has he?
No,
he
has not.
He missed all of 2021. He played 7 games last year.
Yep, because he got hurt. So he got hurt like in training camp, and then they were like, okay, he's out, right? Yeah, he was placed on. He had his first 100-yard game, and then he made his first career start. Yeah, he did that. He tore his ACL in the final preseason game, 2021. Then he was placed on. He missed. He had another knee injury, and damn, man. And then in the 2023 season, he hasn't even been through his first contract. I don't know if he gets another contract, man. He was trying to hold out. I don't know. It's unfortunate, but I got to go with the Bengals offense, even though I don't know what is going on with the Bengals. But I agree with Craig. I don't think the Bengals can start 0-2. Not in this AFC. It's not like last year. It's mouths to feed now. It's going to be a 10-win team that's not in the playoffs in the AFC. I think that's going to be a fact. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to win 11-plus games. And everybody's like, oh, they started off slow last year. That's last year, man. Be mindful. But I give the offense, I give it to the Bengals. Defense, I give it to the Ravens. I agree with you, Craig. They got 2 good linebackers. They're excellent. I mean, the Ravens defense played good last year. I want to see if they pick up where they left off, and they always play the Bengals tough. So, I mean, oh man, the Bengals going down 0-2, Craig. It's going to be something crazy. It's going to be because they'll be down 2 divisional games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 divisional games.
Facts.
The last year, I don't think it was divisional. I don't think they were divisional games last year. But that's not good. This would be a good 1:00 game. I'll definitely be watching it. Hopefully that and probably the Giants and the Cardinals. No, that's a 4:00. Oh, they might only have 1-1. Yeah. Oh, they might have the Falcons and the Packers. That might be that might be Eastern time. So
now I think it's 2 1:00 games. I believe
it's probably Falcons. It's probably Packers and Falcons.
Hopefully it'll be the maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
And then it's gonna be the Ravens and
Bengals. 3. No, it's a couple 1:00 joints, but yeah, it is a conflict because.
Well, I'm thinking about Eastern, right? So
okay.
Fox, they're going to play Ravens here. They're going to play Ravens and Bengals. But for Fox, the only one I can see on Eastern time is the Falcons at 1.
Yeah, the Falcons, Green Bay. They might play Detroit. I mean, they might play Detroit, Seattle, but more than likely, like you said, they'll play that Falcons Green Bay game.
Yeah,
especially both of them being 1-0.
Yeah, we're gonna play that. But I have. Man, this is gonna be a good game. Bengals versus Ravens. Oh, I got the Ravens pulling it out. I think that this is a Cincinnati MO, and I think that Joe Burrow missing out on training camp and they're starting out slow. It's gonna impact them this year. They're gonna either end up being a wild card and have to go on the road, or like they're not going to have the number 2 seed. Like they're not going to get a home playoff game, or they're not. I think they're going to lose back-to-back divisional games. The Ravens always play them well, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, 20-17 Ravens. All right, Mo, did you go? Who you got? Ravens.
Coaching wise, I'm gonna go. Coaching wise, I'm gonna go with Harbaugh. I mean, I like what Taylor do. I like what Taylor has done. But overall body work in this situation. Overall body work plus the week 1. I gotta go with my man. I gotta go with Harbaugh. Defense. I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I mean, even with Humphreys out, I think overall defense. I like their 2 young edge rusher. One from Michigan, one from Penn State. Both of them, I think, are in their second years. I'm hoping they can turn the corner. Offense. I'm gonna go to Bengals. Okay. I mean, I like the upgrades Baltimore's made, but that Cincinnati offense is more consistent. Has done more over the last period of time. They're more proven. I mean, I'm a DMV person, so I love both teams, but like everybody said, I can't see Cincinnati going 0-2. I think they're going to see that they can't go 0-2, especially in the division. So, but I think this is going to be a dog fight. I'm gonna go Cincinnati, 27-20.
Woo! All right, I'm gonna start off this one: Seahawks versus the Lions. Who you got? I'm gonna go with coaching. I'm gonna go with Pete Carroll, but I like Dan Campbell. He might be head coach of the year, maybe, if they go to the playoffs. If Lions go to the playoffs, he's definitely getting coach of the year. That you have to give it to him. They haven't been in the playoffs in a long time. But I like Dan Campbell. I like his coaching style. The players have taken his identity, and I like that. I always like Jared Goff, so he fits right in. But I gotta give it to Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll been doing it longer, and just the fact that he had the Seattle team playing where they were, playing how they are, and making the playoffs right here is just a testament of how great Pete Carroll is as a coach. Offense. I'm gonna go Seahawks, just because that 3-headed monster receiver is crazy. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Smith-Jigba. Boom. And Kenneth Gainwell and the other running back. All Gino has to do is manage. That's it. That's all he has to do. And I think their offense is better than the Lions. Their defense, I give it the Lions. I think the Lions defense came out, played. Now Kansas City didn't have Travis Kelce, but they played them well. And I like Adrian Hutchinson. I told everybody this. He should have been the first pick. That's just me. I can only imagine if he was on the Jaguars. Good gosh. But playing in Florida with Trevor Lawrence. But anyway, I like their defense, man, and they play tough. They're hard nosed. Who wins the game? I think this game is going to be very interesting. I think that the Lions are coming off a long bye week. It is in Detroit, and I think Seattle comes out with a sense of urgency. And I have Seattle pulling the win out, beating the Lions at home, because I don't think Seattle wants to start 0-2, because they don't have an easy cakewalk schedule like they did last year. They facing some teams this year, so this game is kind of I want to say not must-win territory, but some of these teams need to win. They need to come out with an urgency, and I think that's what Seattle is. And I think this is going to be. I know we both talked about defense. I think this is going to be a nice, high-scoring, surprising game. But I have the Seahawks beating the Lions 35-31. It's gonna be a blowout. Mo, Seahawks versus Lions. Who you got?
Coaching. It's tough. I love what Dan Campbell's done recently. How he finished last season. The upset right now, but this is still almost I guess in this comparison, still almost an overall body of work because Pete Carroll did an amazing job. And nobody think Seattle was gonna make the playoffs with no Geno Smith at quarterback last year. So I'm gonna go Seattle. I'm gonna go Pete Carroll at quarterback. I mean, with a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Offense. I'm going Detroit. I love the offensive line, man. The offensive line is very physical. I love the combination they got with Montgomery and Gibbs. I love that rotation. And then you got to look at it. I'm looking at overall. I'm looking at when everything gets where it needs to be at. You look at wide receiver with St. Brown. Then you talk about the dude Jameson Williams when he come back off suspension. Oh man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Defense.
Mm-hmm.
Boy. Defense. I don't know. I might go to Troy. I might go to Troy as well. I just think Hutchinson is just a difference maker. Like Kansas City, I ain't saying Kansas City got all pros and the best offensive lines, but what he did to Kansas City offensive line was just ridiculous. Like he went up and down that offensive line and was like, who next? And just was going to work. So if they, God forbid, they get anybody else to kind of show up with pressure or anybody else in that front seven to go to work, oh man, I'm gonna say this. I understand the pressure on Seattle, and the wild part is I'm in a trip bag with this kind of pick because I did have Seattle as one of my playoff teams. So if they go 0-2, then me having them as a 6 seed right now looks kind of shaky. But I think for Dan Campbell, you can't afford to lose this game after you beat Kansas City. You can't turn around and lose a game like this and then try to promote that we're turning the corner. So I would so I'm going to say in a shootout, I'm going to say Detroit. I'm going to say Detroit 42-35 in the shootout.
All right, Craig. Be interesting. I want to hear your takes on this.
Coaching, I'm going Dan Campbell. I know Pete Carroll has done it for years and years, but I'm just going off of what I saw in week one. Like Dan Campbell's team was able to come away with a tough road win that a lot of people didn't think they were going to be able to do. And they went in there and they beat the defending champs on ring night or whatever you want to call it, or whatever they do. And they were able to go in there and pull off a victory. And at the end of the game, they were able to milk the clock. So I got to go with the Lions, and especially how the Seahawks played. This is the Seahawks team that I saw against the Rams is the team I thought I was going to see last year. Terrible team. Offense was horrible. Pete Carroll, like I said, is a great coach. Probably definitely going to be a Hall of Famer, but my God, that offense that whole team just looked horrible. So give me Dan Campbell. Offense. I'm going to neither offense really did much. Jared Goff did a little bit more, especially with his total passing yards. The Lions offense scored 14 points, and the Seahawks offense scored 13. There was a pick for the Lions. So, but on paper, I want to believe that the Seahawks, because they have two solid running backs, they have three good wide receivers. Geno Smith had an amazing season last year. I do like Jared Goff. I like Gibbs and Montgomery and St. Brown and even Sam Laporta, the tight end. Excuse me, but I just got to go with Seattle. I just think they have, at least on paper, they should be able to put up points and they should be able to have a much better showing this week than they did last week. Defense, I'm going with the Lions. Anytime you can hold the Chiefs to just 20 points. Had a pick six on Mahomes. Granted, it really wasn't Mahomes' fault. But holding that team to 20 points when I thought it was going to be a higher scoring game. And you look on the other side, like I said earlier, you got Tutu and Puka or whatever his name. 119 each with Matt Stafford throwing the ball. And I just
looking like old Matt Stafford.
Yeah, I mean he didn't have a touchdown, but that offense was just cooking, and the Seattle's defense just was on their heels the whole time, especially in that second half where they got beat 23-0. But I'm going with the Lions here, like you said, Hutchinson. You guys said Hutchinson's a beast. Like I said, they were able to hold the Chiefs to 20 points, had a pick six in there, so I'm going with them. This game, I said the Bengals can't afford to start 0-2. The only thing about that is that the Bengals, it's a division game, and they're at home. You don't want to go 0-2. Especially losing at home. Seattle's going to be on the road in this game. They had opportunity last week. That last week is the game that they should have won. They should not be 0-1 heading into this game and have an opportunity to go down 0-2. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think lose this game. I still got them in the playoffs, but it's going to be dicey, man. But give me the Lions 34-24.
Yeah, it's going to be I know that when teams go 0-2, it's hard to make the playoffs, but this is some must-win games, man.
I think having an extra game in there now that it's 17 versus 16 gives you a little bit more leeway to start out 0-2.
That's true.
You do.
That's true.
But at the same time, you don't want to go down 0-2. Nobody wants to start 0-2. So it's gonna be interesting though.
All right, Craig, last one: Chiefs versus Jags. Who you got?
Coaching, I'm going Andy Reid. There's no reason for me to doubt him. I know they struggled last week and they lost, but I'm still going.
You know who that was. You know why they lost. Everybody knows why they lost.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's two reasons for me, but I mean three reasons. The drop sort of Kadarius Toney can't catch. No Chris Jones, and then on the other side, I'm still on the offense.
He looked great.
But yeah, I'm going Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Offensively, I think as great as Patrick Mahomes is, and I believe hopefully Travis Kelce comes back. I'm still not convinced on that wide receiver group. I'm still not convinced on the running backs that they have. They struggled last week. I'm just waiting to see. I think eventually with time they're gonna get it together. But I gotta go with Jacksonville. I mean, granted they played an easier opponent last week, but Trevor Lawrence still looked good. Travis Etienne ran the ball well. Calvin really looked like he didn't even he wasn't even suspended. Christian Kirk didn't get off at all, but I mean, he will go out there and still put up 31 points with Christian Kirk not even doing anything, and you still have Zay Jones and Calvin Ridley and Evan Ingram catching passes, and they were able to put them out. I got to go with Jacksonville's offense there. Defense, I'm going with the Chiefs defense, especially now that Jones is back. They held the Lions basically, like I said earlier, to 14 points. And that's a high octane offense. The Jaguars, they struggled against a rookie quarterback. Now, granted, he's a running quarterback, or he's really mobile, but they struggled against Anthony Richardson. Pittman got off for almost 100 yards and a touchdown. Richardson even had 40 yards on the ground. So, and there's no JT there. So they were able to still put up 21 points and have an opportunity late in that game. I thought they should have went for a field goal late in the game and then went for an onside kick instead of going for it on fourth down, possibly give your team a chance. But pretty much the game was over anyway, and the Jaguars are going to win it. But that Chiefs defense, man. They didn't have Jones, and they still, like I said, they still had the Lions to 14. Now they got Jones, so I don't know about what's going to happen there coming up soon. And this is another team that just cannot afford to start out 0-2. It's like so. I think if Kelce comes back, which I hope he does.
They said it's looking good. That's what I read on the internet. We're not gonna really know anything till tomorrow.
Yeah, the extra time off.
Yeah,
with everything and getting these guys there, especially the wide receivers, because they definitely need it. Extra time off, kind of like a little mini bye week, getting those guys extra reps with Mahomes. So it's gonna be a tough environment because it's on the road. But I got Kansas City winning this game. Should be. I said last week it was going to be a high scoring game, and that turned out to be no. But I think this could be a high scoring game. Give me the Chiefs 34-27.
I like that. Chiefs versus Jags. Who you got? Coaching this easy. Andy Reid. He's probably gonna win every time for coaching. He's just great coach. He's phenomenal. He's probably gonna be one of the greatest coaches ever. And I always like Andy Reid, man. You know, even being a Commanders fan, he had Michael Vick looking phenomenal. They used to shred us, man. So I got to give it out to Andy Reid, and he just every quarterback that's played for him has played good. That's just what it is, and he got Mahomes, and they just fit. Offense, I gotta go with the Jags. Until because I'm not gonna lie, man. Kadarius Toney dropping he dropped 4 passes. I think if he didn't drop those passes, they would have won. They would have been balling out. But it's they wouldn't be 0-1. I still have them, winning a lot of games. I didn't say what Nick Rice said. He was like, they're going 20-0. I was like, you're wilding out. It's a bold take, but I don't. Not with no Travis Kelce and Chris Jones. I thought they were going to win the game. I was surprised they didn't, but I'm not picking them to go 20-0. But offense, shout out to Trevor Lawrence, looks good. Evan Ingram, Zay Jones, Calvin Ridley. Man, I wish I had him in fantasy. I would have got him, I think Calvin Ridley gonna have a good year. And then Trevor Lawrence, and then Travis Etienne. The Jags offense is loaded, and they're gonna make some. And they got easy schedule. Man, they're about to win a lot of games. Just probably not this one. Chiefs defense. Chris Jones is back. He's gonna wreak havoc. He's going to wreak havoc. Listen, I'm with Craig. The Chiefs defense look good. And if they are a top 10 defense this year with Patrick Mahomes, they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. You give Patrick Mahomes a top 10 D, man. Jeez. Man, golly. And then they'll be back next year. So I got to give it the defense. I think this game, I agree with Craig. I don't think it's wise for the Chiefs to start 0-2, and they're probably not. This is a mini bye week for Andy Reid. Andy Reid's bye week record is ridiculous. I think Kadarius Toney has been in the lab. He's not going to drop some balls. I think Patrick Mahomes, you're right, has been getting extra work. And we all know how he operates. If you didn't watch the series Quarterback on Netflix, I suggest you do. Because Patrick Mahomes' work ethic is on a different level. He's on that LeBron, Kobe, Steph. He's got that type of mindset. He's going to win a lot of championships. So, but I got the Chiefs winning. I got this being. I don't have it being a real blowout. I got the Chiefs winning 28-21. Mo, Chiefs and Jags. Who you got?
Coaching, I'm gonna go Andy Reid. Love the job Doug Peterson has done. But just gotta go to Andy Reid, who I think is, by the time said and done, he's going to be a top 2 to 3 coach all time.
Yeah.
Especially, I truly believe by the time he's done, depending on how he designates the people around him. If he finds him another kind of Eric Bieniemy type person, I think if he wins at least 2 more Super Bowls, we might have to make an argument. I get what people say Belichick, but if he wins 2 more,
if he win 2 more, how much Belichick got, Mo? 6?
Yeah, Belichick got 6. Andy got 3? 2, 3?
Yeah, if Andy wins 5,
yeah.
You might be right.
So I'm gonna go Andy Reid. Offense, I'm gonna go Jaguars. I'm just overall body work. I need to see the receivers play better. I think Jacksonville overall, from the running back standpoint, wide receiver, tight end standpoint, even though Kelce, I see Kelce come back, but from just an overall standpoint, I just feel like overall well-rounded. Jacksonville has better offense, defense. Chris Jones comes back. I'm gonna go Chris Jones. He's just he's just the better. He's just the best. He'll be the best defense player on the field by far. I'm gonna say this, and it's wild because this is a game where Jacksonville needs to kind of turn the corner and show that we're here, we're for real. These are the type games you want to win. But I just don't see Mahomes and Reed letting them go 0-2. I just can't see them coming out and not put their best foot forward. So
yeah,
I think this is going to be I think it's going to be an early candidate for game of the year, man. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go Kansas City 35-32. I think it's going to be a big-time game. I think it's going to be an early candidate for game of the year. I think it's going to be a tough game.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Trust me, we're going to be back next week, right around 7. And remember, you can catch us on all podcasts. Where are you available? I'll definitely update it with the link in the description. And I can't wait to see y'all can listen out, man. And we're just going to bring awesome content every week. Thank y'all for supporting us. We're out. Peace.